Hi Alendra,
Hi Tom.
nice to see you again, and I've really been enjoying these classes with you and Antion.
That's wonderful. We've been enjoying them too.
Yeah. It's a nice little environment that you've created out here, but I think it's more than just this place, which is a really nice environment. I think you and Antion have got some very unique little yin-yang, male-female thing that you're sort of bringing to your yoga.
Yes.
And you know, it's something I really kind of find my heart supporting. You know, it's because a lot of yogis will teach you a lot of things that are really beneficial for energizing your body and mind. But what about the social connectedness, and what about the heart of yoga? And that's those little questions are always there in the back of my mind. You know, it's like, you know, what do I do with all this energy that I get? You know, I want to learn how to connect with people again. You know, how to really kind of, you know, connect.
Right.
You know, sort of like connecting with people regardless of the different financial or social or career status that we may have. I may be well ahead or well behind some people, you know.
Exactly.
And I still like to connect, you know. And I think I've got something about what you're doing there. It's giving us the opportunity to connect as well as doing the great stuff and exercises, asanas for the body and energizing.
Yes. Well, you can imagine after 40 years of doing this, and studying with many different teachers, like 33 healing modalities with many teachers, as well as all of that yoga, and the same with Antion. And it's like, well, what is it really about? You know, because there's endless information, and all these teachers have had hundreds of teachers. What is it really? What is the base about? And it is about that, isn't it? It's about the heart connection. What is more important than living out of our heart-centeredness and being kind, being loving, being acknowledging and accepting, and in that space of oneness. And I learned that. I learned that not from the yoga teachings, but from Hawaii. And it was living in Hawaii 17 years that really gave us that gave us that feeling of life is really about the heart and not about the head. And you know, Einstein said something that I just love, this quote. He said that the intuitive mind is about a sacred gift. The intuitive mind is a sacred gift, and the rational mind is a faithful servant. That's all it is, a faithful servant. And we have elevated the servant and forgotten the gift. And the gift is the intuitive mind. The gift is the heart. You know, the longest journey you will ever take is from your head to your heart. Our society is so stuck in the head and in the rational mind and figuring out what to do. And letting that go and being in your indigenous consciousness, a holographic consciousness that is in tune with your intuition and all of your senses, which are way more than just 5. You know, some people, it has been spoken that there are 300 senses. Bushba in South Africa says 33. You know?
But we all crave, regardless of how many we've got, I'm sure most people are craving more in-depth, real connectedness with each other, you know. We know that we're not supposed to be just relating to each other from robot masks, eh?
Yes.
So, and I think, you know, it's a combination with what you're doing is that sort of energizing, that therapeutic yoga for the body and mind, and then starting to exercise those social motors which have long been lying dormant, and getting people to actually make that little effort to connect with someone that they may be, you know, not normally used to connecting with, you know, which is great, you know.
Yeah, and then just bringing when the energy's in the heart-centeredness, it's so different from when we're in our head. We want to open ourselves to everybody in the room, hug everybody in the room. So we do that in Hawaii so much, and you know, that is what I love to do. That is what I love. It's almost like the yoga and the endless techniques and tools, which are so rich in my experience of 40 years, that to let them all go and just to allow to be in the present, you know, just to be in the present, feeling that, and that word aloha is very good for that, because it means the joyful sharing of life energy in the present. So it's a good word. And we use the word Sat Nam in class a lot, right? And that is the energy of the yoga, of this Kundalini Chi yoga. I've added the Chi to it through the work of the Taoist teachings. But ultimately it's the same.
A lot of cultures have different words for a more in-depth type of language, In Irish you've got the crack, C-R-A-I-C, and it's kind of a term that talks about high conviviality, where there's like an almost instant elevation when the people come together, They kind of know they're going to go up a level because they've got that trust. It's like a trusted community that comes together and just immediately rises because they know what they hunger for. And then in Maori, you've got the word kōrero and a few other similar words, that talk about a more in-depth communication coming from within. And in Hindi, you've got, I think it's satsang, company of truth, And then even in the Bible, you've got phrases like, when two or more are gathered in my name, I'll be there. And it's kind of like more than the parts adding up to more than the sum. Sort of thing. When people sort of have a desire for a better level of communication, it's almost like a better level of communication can happen. And yet we still have to do that work. We've got to keep our bodies and minds in reasonable condition, don't we? So, and that's what I see, you've got a great combination there, you're doing both, and you're sort of creating an atmosphere where people can do what they want to do, which is connect and show care for each other.
Yes, that's right.
And, it's just a nice little cherry on the cake of your yoga, so to speak.
Well, showing care for the body, for your own body, really supports showing care for everybody else, doesn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just enjoying the combination of doing, because I don't usually do classes at all. I only go there if I feel there's something, kind of very unique about a class. Because right where we are now is where I usually do my yoga, and I just feel it really helps me just coming here, just to get into the mood, a nice, beautiful, lonely little glade like we've got here,
Yeah, isn't it lovely
It
here?
is, beautiful little place.
Yes.
So it's a great help for me just to come here and do it. But I do have this kind of care, for I think people just want to be connected with each other, and somehow that has to be tied in with yoga, and what you and Antion are doing seems to be the closest I've seen to people really kind of working with the two kind of areas.
Oh, wonderful. And it's not just about each other, it is about the synergy of people that creates that energy that is higher, that takes us all higher into the frequency of love. Love is a frequency. It's not a romantic thing, right? That everybody thinks it is. It is really reminding ourselves that we already are love. We already are. Let us be the love that we already are. It's a frequency. To live in this frequency. To live, to practice, to be, meaning letting go of all the things that we've been conditioned to believe and to do, and the work and the stress, and then having to escape from the work and the stress, and all these addictive modes of whatever that is, sugar and running to movies and TV and all that stuff. Oh, that just separates you from yourself. It separates you from the sense of inner joy.
There's so many distractions and so many addictions, from sugar to cigarettes to harder drugs, it's just so many things that will distract us away from
So as we feel that and ground it into our bodies with this Kundalini Chi yoga, then we don't need those addictions, they'll just drop away. And then the addiction is a natural one of it, addiction to health, right? That you know a lot about and are working a lot with. The addiction to the earth, to loving the earth, to being in nature, to supporting ourselves, to be closer to ourselves, to learn more about ourselves. Not endless techniques and tools and struggling with weight and weight loss, and it's not even necessary when we activate the hypothalamus, the pituitary, the the spleen that knows how to hold all that energy for you. It knows how to do that. You don't even have to worry about it. But every time we're in a discipline, because it does take that. The only time you have is the time you take. Right? It does take saying, okay, this is my time. This is my sacred space that I'm going to sit down in and do a little breathing, do a little yoga. And then every time you do that, you build up the power and the strength within yourself and your body to have no interest in all those addictions. You don't have to rush to the fridge for nurturing yourself. You don't have to eat all that sweet stuff and drink all that coffee that makes your body more acidic and all those things that we do that we do because we're stressed.
And they seem so necessary too, don't they? At the time when you're in that zone where you're kind of floundering around, that you just need that coffee and you need that cigarette sort of thing. Don't even just sort of move away from that zone, that suddenly they don't have that relevance and power anymore.
And you can't really, it's so hard to force yourself. It's so hard. Discipline is so hard in that sense. And that's why the inspiration and the support means so very much. A class with this energy that raises energy.
I was just looking at the video clips and looking at the chart, and I was quite tired. And I've had this kind of tooth that I'm going to beat it, but I've got a hole in my tooth and I'll let it get out of control. And I just was looking at the video and it just distracted me right away from that whole kind of tooth and kind of slightly dizziness type of thing.
So even the video can do it, can't it? We can move so much energy in a video. It's all about energy and moving energy. And as our world comes to define energy as something other than force and force-based, because that's how it's defined scientifically, so much will open up for us. So much of wonderful energy that can be used to support ourselves.
It's quite a funny thing, Yoga, because it was yesterday I did, I did a session. And quite often I get almost like a delayed reaction to my yoga sessions. It's like the next day it all seems to come upon me, sometimes. I don't know why it works like that. But I just did a session yesterday with some chants. Chants sort of gives me the inspiration. Doing some chanting gives me the inspiration to do the asanas, the breathing exercises and things. And then I sort of, go away and go back to doing a bit more on these videos, which I'm only just learning how to sort of edit and do. And I'm spending a lot of time by the computer, which is a concern, but I love doing it. But, today I'm just feeling great, and that tooth thing is there in the background. I know it's having a biological effect. I'm going to have to keep drinking certain tonics and stuff for a while, but we'll get there.
Yes, definitely.
And it's that, it is that living yoga, it's those practices that are really giving me that little bit of energy in a time where I really need it.
Yes, it's very much about self-healing. It's very much about empowering people into their self-sovereignty, into their self-reliance, into their self-responsibility, and their self-healing. It's very much about healing, self-healing. So when the focus is there, then energy moves and supports that. So things can be healed right there and then in class, and often have. Yes.
And I was thinking about, a lot of the time I've struggled with the discipline to do yoga and find time when I'm sort of so busy and almost backpedaling half the time. And yet, when you just do it, you know that that's what you've got to do. It's like, all the other things that you don't really have any other social obligation other than to make sure there's some basic shelter and food. But, if you're not feeling right, nothing's going to come together really, is it? And so it becomes obvious you just got to do your yoga and then figure out whatever the hell else you're supposed to do after that. So it's been a great start. I'm enjoying the whole process of what you're doing there. Like I say, I'm normally just an individual type of aspiring yogi, in my sort of limited little way, but I've just enjoyed, don't know, something about the brochures or something, or just your first class, I picked up that you were kind of doing something that was real in terms of connectedness with society.
Yes, very, very real, very authentic, and our lives have been totally devoted to it. And you can understand that leaving the world of the rich and famous, because power is, that's our biggest addiction, and it's true of all human beings. As soon as there's a power, there's an inclination to misuse power. And we saw that over and over and made up our minds that we were not going to be in any kind of a power that allowed that to happen to us. So being authentic, being real is the most important thing. You know, even if there's more fame and fortune, we're simply not allowing it, actually.
Great. Oh, well, it's been nice chatting. Why don't we just see how this all came out in the video?
Yes. Okay.